everybody. Carm Capriato Town Hall Academy. Oh, you're here to talk about the things that go round, tires, hey, profit center, no doubt. We've done this a little while back, maybe a year ago, and I thought it was always so apropos to bring it back and to talk about tires because I think it's a missed profit opportunity. Well, we're coming to you live from the Remarkable Results Radio podcast studio. Good to have you all here. And if you're with us on Facebook by any chance, we'd love to have a share. Love to know what city you're in, a like and or a comment or a question for our great panel. And we can watch this over and over again. Hey, who's with me? But wait, first of all, here's my panel. We're kind of doing some things just a little different here, but I need to follow the script. I have to follow the script.
Follow the process, Carm.
That's right. There, if anyone taught me that, Chris, it would have been you. Hey, here's who's with us, Mike Gorton from Evans Automotive in Pensacola, Florida. Hello, Mike. Nice to have you here.
Good to be here.
Hey, super Florida. Lots of great weather going on down there. Darren Ode from Ode's Auto Repair and Tire in Warren, Michigan. Hello, Darren.
Hello there, and it's Odie, by the way. And it's
Odie.
And it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite. Very nice.
Sorry, bud. I should have known better. Darren Odie and Chris Cotton from AutoFix SOS, business coach, and a lot of experience with tires. Chris, that's why you're here. I know it's one of your favorite topics. Hello, everyone.
It is my most favorite topic, Carm. I can talk on tires for hours and hours. I love it.
Good for you. Glad to hear that. All right. Well, great. Hey, we've got some great sponsors for the show. We have had for a long time, and want to pay homage to that. Those are two sponsors. Let's talk about Shopware. Here's something to think about. How often do your advisors play phone tag? Well, every ring, every voicemail, it's time ticking on a stalled job. Shopware's digital communication is really as easy as the customer clicks yes. Find out more at getshopware.com. And does your social media truly represent your shop, or is it just plain vanilla generic posts? Well, it doesn't have to be that way. The experts at Shop Marketing Pros listen and create social content that connects you to your community on the web at shopmarketingpros.com. Hey, team, glad to have you here. And oh, by the way, if you're out with us on YouTube, hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. And give me an opportunity to expose next week, 1 week from today, in the Town Hall Academy. We are going to talk about specialization. We've got a foreign expert, a fleet guy, and a mobile diag guy. And, when you think about the strategic moves that your company may need to make in the incredibly changing proof of concept aftermarket, you may just want to appreciate what these guys have to say. Well, look at guys. Let's talk about tires. As I said, the last episode was about a year ago. And I've got all these great questions, these thoughts in my mind about why we would have this episode. Do we include tire evaluation on your DVIs? What is our close rate when we recommend? Do tire shops take your brake and front end work from you? If you're a one-stop shop, does tires cement your relationship? Everyone, including warehouse outlets like Sam's and BJ's, are the tires. Why would you have your customers go there? Can you accept the margins that tires give you, or do you look at the dollars? And do your customers really know that you're in the tire business? Do you really, really promote it? And should A and B techs do tires? So those are some of the crazy thoughts that I had that I know you guys could land. Chris, being a business coach and a tire guy, I need to take that statistic that you told me the other day about the percentages of vehicles that need tires that come through bays.
Right. So this comes from my 27 plus years of experience, right? Anytime we did like a safety audit or parking lot audit for some companies in where we had our shops, we would go out, do them, and it always was between 30 and 35%. I think I even did this with Mike one time. We walked through a shop and we're like, okay, this car needs tires due to wear. This one needs tires due to circumferential cracking. This one needs tires due to date. If you take your car count and multiply that times 4, assuming you're not working on any dualies, and then take 30 to 35% of that, that's about how many tires you should be selling every week. So if you're doing 40 cars a week and do the math, you should be doing on average somewhere between 40 and 50 tires a week. Now, this is assuming that you are getting new customers in the pipeline and everything like that. It's when you do the math, it's kind of boggling to think that some people are just turning that away.
Mike, do those stats prove out that Chris is talking about?
Yeah, many times I tried to prove him wrong. I was like, there's no way. And he did get me quite a few times. And even if it's just not a tire replacement, it's tire business of some sort, whether it be a rotating balance needed, an alignment needed, something along those lines. So, yeah, they the stats were pretty accurate. I'd give it to them.
So
I walk through parking lots now, like we go to the grocery store, and I look at every car, and I'm like, yep, still 30 to 35%. It's been that way for at least the last 15 years. But anyway.
Isn't it amazing what we do when we're away from our business? We just can't seem to get away from it, right?
Yeah, right.
It's amazing. It's just totally amazing. Mike, I want to stay back with you. And I don't know if you were in the tire business or not, and Chris convinced you to be in it, or you were always there. Do you have to have a tire program from a distributor to make it viable?
Definitely helped. We were not barely doing any tires at all. If we did a tire, it was like, just we had to do that tire kind of thing. And we didn't have any kind of program set up with anybody at all or anything like that. And Chris taught us a lot about tire programs and the benefits of it and getting on one. And, you have to be on a program. It makes it definitely well worth it.
Well, let's be sure that we talk about that in the show. But Darren, I want to bring you in. Can you be competitive?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where these tire programs come in handy, because the better relationships you have with those tire programs, they know, especially with the more independents like we are, they take a lot more care because they're also an independent, and the business is just as important to them as it is to you, that you win every chance you get on those sales and on those customers and delivering the right products that they need. So I think it all goes together. Honestly, your relationship with your vendor as well as being competitive. I've been in the business since I was 14 years old. I'm 57 now, so I've had a few years in the tire business. And back in the day, before all this internet advertising and TV advertising, we would do easily 1,000, 1,500 tires a month. It was a big part of our business. And a lot of that has changed over the years, of course, and as time changes. But I want to get back into those heavy numbers. I think it's a key to the business. You got to give customers a reason not to go somewhere else for anything. Anybody else is going to walk in that door, somebody else's shop, and do that one thing you couldn't do, and they're going to try and win that customer over for different, the same reasons you're trying to. So you got to stop that from happening.
What percentage is your tire volume?
I'd say about 35%.
Okay, 35. Damn, Chris, you're so right.
Well, yeah, I think he's talking about sales, but yeah, either way, I think that's right. And so the other thing is doing tires means no surprises, right? If you have your customer come to you and you do everything for them, I love auto repair shop owners, but if somebody gets a chance to toss you under the bus, guess what? Somebody else out there is going to do it. So the more you keep your customer in your shop and doing business with you, the less opportunity there is for somebody to make something up, throw you under the bus, whatever. So keep them in your shop. Do the tire. Stop letting that money go out the door.
I've talked to some shop owners that don't believe that we need to have tires in the lobby or the showroom when people walk in, and who's walking in anymore. So our challenge is not necessarily to put a tire or two up so that we feel and look like we're in the tire business, but to communicate to them through marketing. So Darren, how are you getting the message out to your customers that you're a one-stop shop?
Sure. So we have it obviously on our building. We have it in our advertising, every bit of our internet advertising, any marketing we send out. I do the pay-per-clicks to advertise for tires. I probably push that more than anything else because the service seems to come easier. There's a lot more categories of service that draw people in. So the tires is tires. So we push the pay-per-click stuff on the tires to try and get us to the top of the list on the internet, because your competition is advertising. The big boys in the neighborhood are advertising on TV. Their impressions per day are incredible. Where ours, with our budget, is nowhere near that. So anytime you can get a customer to see you one way or another and any kind of a search, it's key. Trying to keep it a bit against them.
Well, Mike, how do we educate our customer to know that we're tire experts? And I guess it goes back to my thinking here. I got some rapid thoughts about communication and letting them know that the tire that we're choosing for them is the right one for their vehicle based on what they're driving.
Well, yeah, I mean, communication again, ask them, is this a sport car? Are you driving it like a sport car? What are your needs? Are you looking for longevity? Are you looking for, like for instance, you get a guy with a truck. Do you want something that's capable off-road? Do you need an all-terrain tire? Or are you just looking to get, 80K out of a set of tires? What you got to know your customer, know your client, and then, you definitely want to know, what they're looking for out of their tire, and then match it, based on that.
So guys, help me out with this whole competitive thing. Darren, you just brought up a great point, and that is that the ads that people are throwing up to us from every source is pulling people's mind share for tire away. Can we be competitive?
I can tell you that one of the things that we do, and you guys may do this as well, Chris and Mike, but we keep our competitors that post online, the biggest ones in our neighborhoods, and we keep their websites up on our computers, so that when a customer comes in, if there's any question about price, we will shop the competition before we even quote them, let alone show them their pricing, to kind of keep them captive, to show them, look, we've got nothing to hide. It's completely open. This is where we're at. We can take care of all your needs. And what I find, what's quite surprising is you would be amazed that if you don't do that, you'll price a tire, then you'll look it up later at your competitor and you realize you left money on the table. It was priced higher than you expected. And so more times than not, I find we're leaving money on the table, trying to be competitive in your own head.
Agree with that, Mike?
We do it a little differently. I mean, I think he's doing quite a bit more tires than I may be doing, but we're more concerned about being more of a convenience for our clients. We're repair 100% first is what I claim most of our business is, and then tire is something that we can offer them and do for them here. So I don't worry so much as my competitor. I want to be competitive on tires, but I don't really look at anything in any of the prices in the area, kind of thing like that.
Chris, I'm sure you're begging at the bit to say something, but I got to drive one more question to Darren. Darren, you've got the competitor's website up. You're going to look at a comparative. You go to your computer, you have your matrix or whatever your process of pricing is, and you say it's going to be $92 a tire. You look it up on the website and they say 89. Will you go to 89 or will you do 92?
Well, we go back to keeping the customer in house, and we don't go to that unless the customer balks, of course. I don't have a problem charging, if it's good value to the customer and they're happy with it, the price is irrelevant. And I think that goes with all your service. So if they feel comfortable with one of your services, they're going to trust you on the other. So I would say about 90% of the time, normal customers, that is not the case. They don't even question the price. This is for trying to gain the respect and from the new customer and trying to get their trust and show them that you're transparent. That's the biggest area where we find, that people are shopping. They've called you, they showed up, they've done whatever, and they're not your customer yet. You have to get that trust and show that you're not afraid of your competition.
Chris, come on in.
So I would say, and I think the panel is awesome because we have two different levels in here. So it's a great pick, Carm. What I would say is if you're not doing any tires at all, then start a process and do it like Mike has done it, where you're only taking care of your customers. If somebody calls and you obviously want to try to sell them tires and sell them the service, but take care of your customers first, get your tire program, learn more about the industry, and then let that build up to the Darren level to be where you're taking phone calls every day and asking about tires and then pulling those people in. So I think this is great. But if you're not doing anything at all, let's start with your customers and then move into the rest of it.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a must-have in your business.
Chris, you're a process guy. And I mean, oh my, I just want to sell tires. What do you mean I need a process around selling tires? And Mike, you probably hear this over and over again, Mike. So you may have to hear it again. Chris.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Most everybody's using some sort of form of digital vehicle inspection now, right? Or you should be. Everybody probably has tires on their DVI, but about half the time, if you go back and do an audit on it, there's no picture, there's no tread depth, there's no nothing. So again, you have to follow the process. What is the process in your shop on identifying tires that need to be replaced, et cetera? I don't know much about Darren's climate, but down in the Florida Panhandle, and I've got some clients in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Arizona, those tires are stressed out. You get out in 125-degree heat, plus what you're getting on the road, you have to really keep an eye on those tires, right? The other thing I would say is lean on your technology. Use the DVI. I was going to share it with you, but forgot to send it. Discount Tires coming out now where they have a scan tool, a scanner, where they can go out and scan your tread depth on your tires. And I think Mike and I have talked about this before. I think he's using it, so we'll hop to him in just a second. But you go out, scan the tire, it prints out a report, it tells tread depth, and it'll also give you alignment wear indicators as well. So before your car even comes in, you can say, hey, you need tires and you're going to need alignment while you're here.
Yeah, we bought that tool after we talked, and it's great. It gives them a report. It shows the tire, and it shows like how it's wearing, any kind of ripples in the wear patterns, any kind of chop. It also even has a spot on there. It says, rotate needed, alignment needed, and it kind of gives you the wear patterns and what may be going on. So very valuable, really cool tool, and we added that to every ticket. So it's like as part of every one of our ROs that we do. And then we also do the digital, the DVIs. So, my guys, they go through and they mark as well. So it's kind of getting checked twice, to be 100% honest with you.
Cool. Hey, I'm going to take a timeout. We'll go into segment B here in a second. I have a question about that really cool tool, Mike. Hey, let's face it, technicians are your inventory of time, and it's the only inventory that expires every minute of every day. Maximize sales and speed to get the cars moving through your business a whole lot faster. Learn more at getshopware.com. And is your marketing company sharing the same vanilla posts that they're doing for every other shop? Well, that's not how Shop Marketing Pros does their business. They believe each shop is unique with its own story, and let them tell yours. Contact them today on the web at shopmarketingpros.com. Hey, everybody. Mike, I want to go back to you. This tool, who makes it? How much?
Tire Profiles, and I want to say the tool auto range, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, hey, we just lost the internet. So say it one more time. Tire
Profiles, and I want to say the tool was about $3,000. And we actually we're Napa Auto Care Center. I was able to purchase it through my Napa Auto Care Center and get a discount on the tools and a credit back on that. So,
Nice.
Purchasing through them, they were able to be, right around the same pricing, and I was able to get a tool rebate on that. So definitely check that out.
Wow. Is it connected to the SMS? Is it a printout? How do you get the data off it?
So there is a website that it goes to, but it automatically prints right to your our printer. So as soon as you ring one, it prints right out. Does it, I guess, like via the Wi-Fi, and prints right out. It's ready for you as soon as you walk back in the office.
You do all 4 tires?
Oh yeah. You have to. You need to complete the little job. There's like a little job it asks you to do. You take a picture of the license plate, and it prints out the customer's license plate so they know it's their vehicle, along with the report in the green, yellow, red, and all that good stuff.
How cool is that, Darren? Do you have that toy yet?
I do not. I haven't even heard of that one yet. We still use the visual and take pictures, like Chris said, of each tire and tread depth gauge and those types of things. A picture, I agree, Chris, is worth 1,000 words. What I'm curious about that tool is, will it tie into, a lot of this stuff is sent to the customer digitally, of course, with our inspections and everything. And is that sendable to the customer with your DVI or separate from your DVI?
It would definitely be separate than your DVI. I wish it was. That would be one thing that would be nice if it would link up with our Mitchell and our ProPack system, but not yet. But maybe down the road. But like I said, most of the time we have the printout right there in hand, and we can take a picture with our DVI and send it to the client if needed.
You know what's amazing, guys? Of course, Shopware is a sponsor here. Is just to pick up the phone and call your company and saying, "Hey, we have another integration or API that you have to design for us."
Yeah.
And Carm, that process takes like seriously 3 minutes. And again, they have a process. I believe you start at the right front tire, work your way around. It's really quick.
Guys, we of course know that the big alignment companies have you drive over the sensors, right? And they produce the same thing, but this is more. I would imagine that $3,000 is a lighter price tag than the drive over unit.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay. Process, Chris. I know we started to talk about it, but is there anything deeper that we want to? I mean, is there a sales process that the selling tires needs to go through?
Well, again, you just have to reinforce, one, decide as a shop that this is what you want to do, make sure that it's important and that you follow up on it. But the other thing we haven't touched on yet is margins. A lot of people think, oh, I can't make any money on tires, which is insane. I don't know why people think that. If I had a whiteboard behind me, I'd get on there and scribble it out real quick. You can have a guy that does an alignment 4 tires and has the whole process done in less than 2 hours and make a 50% or better margin, depending on what you have, right? So you've got the tire itself. And what I talk to my people about is we have a tire matrix, just like we have a parts matrix. We have a tire matrix that goes through and helps us price it. But then you've got your mounting and balancing. You've got your road hazard, and I highly recommend an in-house road hazard if you're going to sell one. Mike's giving me a thumbs up. And so is Darren. When I started in the industry, it was with Goodyear, and they had like an outside program like Sancio, which is just it's kind of a headache because you have to call in, get approval. Customers get frustrated. Again, make your process easy with no surprises. Make sure it's customer friendly. You can get through the process correctly. The other thing that I talk to my people about is when you price everything in there up front. Don't try to add on. When I give you a quote, I'm going to give you a quote for the tires, mounting and balancing, road hazard, and an alignment. And I'm going to be like, this is your total investment. This includes everything. We're also going to do a DVI of your vehicle and let you know if there's anything else, but this is it. And a lot of people are shocked at that because they go into some places and they're taught, oh, quote them the tires and then we'll add on the rest later. Well, guess what? Your success rate adding it on is about 15% rate, whereas your success rate having it up front is about 75 to 80%. And you'd be astonished at how people say, oh, that price includes all of that. And I'm like, you're absolutely correct. It does include all that. Would you like to go ahead and do that today? And they're like, oh, absolutely. It's easy peasy.
Okay, guys, road hazard. Let's talk about it. You guys smiled. The biggest toothy grin when Chris said road hazard. Let's dig into that.
So we've been selling road hazard, and I totally agree, Chris. We've never been a part of a program where we're not self-funded because you're leaving so much money on the table. And it's so easy to handle with the customer, even if they're traveling. It's such a small percentage of comeback issues with road hazard. And you can do it, of course, all different ways, where the tire's prorated when it comes back after a certain length of time, or we have switched to what our competitors are doing. So it's apples to apples. So they can't say anybody's program's any better in our area, which is a 3-year free replacement. They just pay for new warranty and a new mount and balance of the tire. And the tire is always free as long as there's more than 330 seconds on the tire. So it really works out good. It's simple. There's no question of prorating, none of that anymore. And we charge 15% of the tire purchase is the cost of the warranty. So it just moves with the price of the tire accordingly. It's a great program.
Mike, do you agree with what Darren just spoke to?
Yeah, we're pretty close to that. I mean, we did the 4 years or 430 seconds or whatever, but it's free replacement up to that point. And I tell my clients, listen, your tire's my problem for the next 4 years. I mean, hands down, you have any issues, whether it be alignment, whether it be the rotating balances or whatever, tire patches, anything, your tire is my problem. So you come to me, we do your oil change, we balance your tires. You've already paid for it with your road hazard package, and it's done deal. And just like you said, it's really simple, and it's such a small amount of people that have major tire issues. And if they are traveling, so what? You just, they tell them, hey, keep your receipt, or, we'll pay over the phone. It doesn't matter. It's such a small amount, and you're taking care of your client and just keep it in-house. The whole Sanzio and all that kind of stuff, it is just a waste of time. Chris, I was like really scared at first. I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to go into this unprotected. Like, I feel like I have to have somebody there. And after I started doing the math, and really Chris gave me a number, like 3%, was like, I had to put a cost in for my road hazard. Like, what would it cost me maybe by the end of the year? And he gave me a figure, maybe 3% of my road hazard. And I honestly think that may have been even high, but it was a good place to put as like a protection point. And we didn't even barely hit that. And on top of that, it was just, I didn't have to pay anybody for some kind of protection. You're not going to get hardly anything from Sanzio or anything like that. And it's just relieves all the headache and all the paperwork of having to deal with them.
Mike, Darren said 15%. You said you were close. What's your number? Do you know?
15% is my number. It's
your number. Okay.
Yeah. I was just more on he's 3 years, I'm 4 years. I mean, yeah, but regardless, 15% was the number.
And Chris, based on the warranty that you see that customers are asking for a road hazard service, and I think, Mike, you said maybe 3% of the road hazard income would be used to support that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So Carm, when I had my shop, when you're looking at the road hazard numbers, we were always in the 3 to 6% range. We never went over 6%. So my cost on that, if I did $100,000 in road hazard for the year, was never more than $6,000. So I've got a 94% margin on road hazard. When you add that back into the tires, so what? You're making 20%, 15% on the tires. You add that back in, it increases it, plus your vendor money on the backside and everything else. It's a great program.
I was trying to do the math in my mind and I couldn't, but you said something about 94% of the money that you were collecting came into the house, stayed into the house. Did you ever do the math as to what margin that bumped my tire? Say you were making 30% on tires. Would you be making 35?
It just depends, but yeah, you can gain another 5 to 10 points on tires by just having the road hazard program.
Got it. Now let's talk about programs, guys. Distributors have programs just like your parts guys have, and they probably have volume earnbacks, advertising programs. Can we jump into that, Darren?
Yep. So we've been with many programs over the years, from Bridgestone Firestone to the Cooper program, which we're currently heavily with right now, Nexon Tire, all different companies, even with Goodyear for a while. And, it really makes a big difference based on how much time you spend on building your relationship with your vendor, because they are in it for you to win it. Without that, they don't win it. So believe me, they listen when you talk to them about needing more programs or needing more support or needing something covered. If you have a good relationship, that maybe is a margin call for your customer. and we have been around for so long in this business. We were one of the original pioneers in Michigan for handling custom wheels. We were the first store in Michigan to actually stock custom wheels back in the 60s. And so it goes a long way here, again, getting vendors to trust you, trust your opinion. It's very important to have that relationship to be competitive, to offer programs.
Mike, how about you?
Yeah, the program's huge. Just first off, picking the right one that you want to work with. You know, we were with one only for a while, and then we ended up having to adopt another one, especially with COVID. It came up. Manufacturing was so down. I was like, wow, I'm really struggling to get some of these tires that I need, like that are in my program, and I'm losing these rebates and stuff like that. I'm like, what do I do? Well, I was like, why can't I have another program? You know, have like another line of tires that we can offer here, and we can and try to help give it to our customers that are a quality tire, but also not get us so that we're in such a bind when I can't maybe find that Michelin tire or the BFG. I got a Falcon or an Exxon, like he was saying, or a Cooper program. So I just actually got on with another program. So I now offer two programs. I have two programs now at our shop.
What do the programs or slash distributors, which is what I'm assuming, what do they help you with, guys? I mean, is there advertising? Is there signage? You know, pamphlets, education, trainings, selling technique?
Definitely. Like so, for instance, I'm with Michelin and BFG and Uniroyal. I get banners. They give you these little rip off or whatever you can put on your desk. So whenever you sell a set of tires to a client, you know, whatever the deal of the month may be. Like for instance, you know, like say, hey, this month is BFG. Well, BFG. Well, if you buy any of these truck tires or any of these car tires, you get a $70 mail-in rebate rip off that sits right on my desk. So as soon as I sell it to my client, I'm like, hey, you know, not only is this a great tire we put on your car and you have all this, you know, road hazard and everything's covered, here's $70 back, you know, and they send it in. So it sits right on your desk. It's easy to give right to your client. It's super easy to fill out. Sometimes we do it for them. So they give us that. They give us banners. They give us all kind of marketing tools, and, you know, getting into more of the advertising stuff, you know, the funds for that to help promote and get it in the door and stuff like that. They give you a lot of funding on that end for your website and different things like that.
Chris, you got to have a program. It seems to me, if you're going to be serious about the tire business. I mean, Mike, before, and again, I don't know if you were selling a lot and then you hooked up with Chris and there was a meeting of the minds and you did this. If you did not have a program and have multiple distributors working with you, you probably were just toying with being in the tire business. You weren't really in it.
I would claim I was not in the tire business. Yeah, it's night and day from when you're on a program and then you really get, and, you know, make them work too. You know, my best advice to a new person getting into it, you can ask Chris. It was kind of a slow process for me because we have a couple different wholesalers in our area, and I made them compete versus each other. Who was offering me the best thing? Who was going to answer the phone when I needed it? Just some basic stuff was really important for me, and who was going to be able to supply me the most, you know, during the day. When are my drop-offs? When are my deliveries going to be? You know, because that's a big thing. If you can't get a tire to a client, you know, they're going down the street. You know, people want their tires. They don't want to wait a week for their tires. They don't want to wait 4 days for their tires. They want their tires that day or the next day, at worst. So that was a big thing for me as well.
Good for you. Darren, what's your program or suppliers doing for you?
Well, you know, like Mike was saying, some of the education that they give, the training, is so important because, you know, we talked earlier about knowing your customer, evaluating your customer, and educating your customer is just as important. And the situation with educating your customer is if you don't know your products and why they're superior or what their, you know, advantages are from one tire to the next, and you don't know how to present it to your customer, you're gonna represent your customer the wrong way. And our job, as we know, in everything we do for our customers, is to cure their problems. So when we take that customer and we take them out to the car, walk around the car with them, we look for the trailer hitch, we look for the car seat, we look for all the things that have a discussion about what is this car used for? Is it your family car? Is it your work car? What, you know, and educate them on not just buying a tire because it rolls down the road, but meeting their needs. What did they like about what's on their car? What is it you want to fix with the tires that you had that you didn't like? And then we now know how to educate them on what makes one tire different than the other. And through that, through our vendors, of course, that's how we get our training. It's so important. And I'm sure, Mike, you can attest this, being a newer guy in the industry, that education is what gives you all the confidence in the world to take it to the next level with the customer. And I could tell you, doing this for so many years, the number one thing we hear from our customers is, nobody ever told me that. Nobody ever spent the time to give me an education about what I'm purchasing and why. And that is our advantage. That's our niche, because we do take that time.
How it's so good to hear you say that. And what I took away from what you just said, Darren, was, and I guess I have to ask both of you, the words I wrote down were product knowledge. I mean, how many products out there? I don't know if it's the mileage, if it's the compound, if it's the design, if it's the what. Your sales people in your company, say you got two service advisors on the counter. Is one really the best at tires, or are they both? I mean, do we yield to say, hey, I know you need some great tires, but Bob over here, I mean, he's our tire guy. Do you focus on one particular individual that knows the entire product line?
That's a good question, because there is so much change in this industry, like anything else. For example, somebody comes in with a classic car. I've been around the business so long, I know the classic cars. So they always ask for my help or me to take over on that stuff. But when it comes to the everyday vehicles, you're right. I mean, it just depends on their commitment to their education, and willingness to go the extra mile and learn what they need to know to tell the customer to make that right decision. And you're right about all those points you said about whether it's the compound, the tread design, the mileage, all of those things matter. And that's what your customers are going to tell you, because when you put those tires on their car, remember, it's the next 3 to 5 years that your reputation is on the line, whether they liked the purchase and they're going to come back because you did such a great job with them, or they hated what you gave them. Now they're going to go, I hated those tires that always, and they think it's your only one, right? And I hated those tires from there, so I'm going somewhere else. It's so important.
Who's the product expert in your place?
Realistically, I probably know the most because I've been in it so long, but I try to make sure all my guys are the product experts, and that we don't claim to know everything, but we claim to be able to get the answers for anything you ask. If we don't know what it is, we'll get you the answer. We're not going to BS around.
Okay. Chris, Chris, I know you're chomping at the bit. So do me a favor, write down everything you want to say in your summary. And I want to end this segment, and I want to go to our segment C here. But we haven't heard from you in a few minutes, Chris, and I know you've got an awful lot to say because you're a tire guy. Hey, how much paper have you touched today? Think about that. Those are piles of time stacked all over your shop. Well, think of what you could do with that time and how many more cars you could get through your door. Cha-ching! It's time for a digital shop management system on the web at getshopware.com. And when someone searches for a shop, are they finding yours or your competitors? Well, it should be you. The good people at Shop Marketing Pros know how to drive website traffic and make Google work for you. On the web at shopmarketingpros.com. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. Okay, Chris, we're in our final segment here, and I know you're chomping at the bit. So
we don't have enough time, Carm. Not even close. We're gonna have to do a part two, because I see a lot of questions out there in the comments too.
Can we let's do that. By the way, let's just do. There was one big from Bill. Yeah, Trace, bring up Bill with tire adjustments. With tire adjustments, when one tire needs to be replaced under warranty, do you adjust one and sell others, or so there are no dissimilar tire treads? That's a great question.
So I would throw this back at Bill. Bill, you're the auto repair professional and the tire professional. What do you think should be done? For me, if you're going to put like a brand new tire and the other one's worn out or almost worn out, then I would say absolutely it's your duty to make sure that car is functioning properly, especially with APS, all-wheel drive, everything else. And if you can help the customer out by giving them a little bit of a credit, use tire credit on that other one that's not wore out, then do that. Make the customer, remember, take care of them. And again, customers are willing to pay for no surprises.
I love it. That is a perfect quote. That's a big takeaway from this show. Chris Walden, who's watching with us on YouTube, as a 21-year veteran outside sales rep for a distributor, glad you could be here, man. I can say that 99 to 100% of my shops do not check out the vehicle. Sad but true. Oh my God! And just come on, hello.
That's good for the rest of us, right?
Yeah, right. That's our specialty.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's why
Right.
we're better. Again, people are willing to pay for no surprises.
Yeah.
Be the shop that offers no surprises.
So, Bill Connor, I know that we didn't answer your question, but we gave you a question back, and if you can reply to us, that would be great. But Chris, do you view tires as a gateway sales item? Oh.
Well, so this goes back to the conversation we were having earlier. If you're not doing tires at all, I don't want you to try to compete with Discount Tire and Les Schwab and Tire Kingdom and those people. Get familiar selling to your customers first, build into it, build a program, and then use it when somebody calls in looking for tires as a gateway to bring people in. Yes, it should be, but not in the beginning. If you know nothing about tires, you're going to get slaughtered. So you might as well build what you got first and then try to draw those people in.
By the way, you mentioned Tire Kingdom. John Krieger, who I worked with years ago, who was a district manager, I believe, for Tire Kingdom, says a tire customer is a customer for life. Tires and service one-stop shop. Yeah, John, I agree with you. That's what we're talking here about. You must have a wonderful summary for us here, Chris.
You know how my brain works, Carm. I got so much stuff going on in there. I don't know that I'll be able to get anything out. I do want to give a shout out to John and be like, hey, John, how's the shopping marathon doing? Because he actually bought that from one of my clients in Marathon, Florida. Back to the vendor program. Who better to sell a tire? There's nothing better than if I can walk out and show a customer, hey, I have that tire on my truck. My wife has those tires on her car. My granny has those cars on her Lincoln. That goes into what you do, what you speak about, and your experience. The vendor programs, they have test drives where you can test drive them. They also have programs where your employees can put their tires on. Use all that stuff to your advantage. We really haven't even talked about backside money from vendors. We talked a little bit about co-op funds and stuff like that. I don't even know, Carm. My head's about to explode.
I know. So, out of any coach that I know in the industry, you're the tire guy. Bill Connor came back to us. So you recommend a customer satisfaction adjustment on other tires when you adjust just one under warranty?
Sure. If you want to do that, I don't know what that looks like, but we could figure out something like that.
Take care of the customer. Have you ever done that, Mike or Darren?
Yes,
I mean,
we have.
take care of the customer. Again, you're talking small fries when it comes to what's really in your road hazard, and you're budgeting for taking care of your customer. So at the end of the day, just do what's right. Do what's right. You got an all-wheel drive. One of them's messed up. Fix that one. Of course, you got to do the other one. You got to make the vehicle safe. You got to do the right thing. So, in my opinion, it's such a small amount of your worry. Just take care of the customer.
Hey, Darren, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I think like Chris said earlier, that preps you for no surprises. You don't want to see that customer come back 6 months down the road with some type of a transfer case issue on an all-wheel drive, or if it's even just a two-wheel drive, left to right sides matter. Your knowledge and knowing how to tell that customer what to do to their vehicle is what they're expecting. So you got to know what you're talking about. And you got to give them what they're expecting, because if they find out the hard way that you didn't know what you were talking about and you didn't educate them properly, that will come back to burn you way more than that tire ever will.
I hear you. Hey, Bill just chimed in for shops that are hung up on tire GP being low, affecting part sales. You talk about gross profit per day, per hour used for the service. Thanks for hanging out with us, Bill, here today. It was good stuff. Thank you to Mike Gorton, Evans Automotive, Pensacola, Florida, and Darren Odie from Odie Auto Repair and Tire in Warren, Michigan. I love he's got a cool picture of his green screen in a Zoom room, Darren, and it's just loaded with tires which is how I figured out he was in the tire business. And of course, my friend Chris Cotton from Auto Fix SOS Business Coach, Tire Guy. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carm.
Thanks.